An Android and a Crackberry mega phone review, news from Nokia, and a lost WebOS prototype surfaces. Live from New York, it's the Mobile Nation's Monday Brief. Greetings, mobile delegates. I'm Ashley Esqueda, and you are watching the Mobile Nation's Monday Brief. Georgia from iMore is joining me for the intro. Thank you so much, my dear.
Thank you so much for having me. I love meeting Ashley.
I love this girl so much. Oh my God. I want you to stay, but I have to bring in Phil from Android Central to talk about his major review that happened this week. So thank you so much for joining me on my casting couch. Phil Nickinson, AndroidCentral.com. Please come join me.
Oh, I'm not sure that's a fair trade, but
it
we'll
is.
see what we can do.
I will have to make do. You had a pretty big review go live this week. The Galaxy S4, the Samsung Galaxy S4. Do you have?
I have it sitting right here, conveniently enough. The Galaxy S4, ladies and gentlemen.
That does seem convenient.
Yes.
So what's the 411? What's the consensus? What does Android Central think about it?
There's a lot of hate out there for this phone, actually. If you've been reading the internets, people aren't as impressed as maybe they thought they would be. It's an iterative device, right? They took what's great about the Galaxy S3 and made it even better, I think, in the Galaxy S4. Display, the same sort of technology, a little bitter.
I was
a
a slip.
Reviews.
A little bitter. I see. Okay, but the screen is better.
Yes, and a little bit better. It's 5 inches now, so we're up, not even half an inch, right? So it's a little bit bigger. It's nice. 13 megapixel camera. It's a little thinner, actually. Mm-hmm. And the footprint is just about the same as the Galaxy S3, so it's really not a bigger phone in your pocket. Still has the button down here at the bottom. Still has TouchWiz. It is now your life companion. So if you've been seeking one of those and can't find one, you can have it in your phone.
Now, when and where can people get the Galaxy S4? Because there's been some delays, some changes, and you are the most up-to-date person on when and where.
It's a little tricky because of the different carriers in the U.S., so Verizon might be the last out of the gate. We don't actually know for everybody yet. So the best thing you can do is check with your carrier, ask them when it's going to come out. Check Android Central. We'll have the latest dates for you there.
Well, Phil, thank you so much for telling us all about the Galaxy S4. And if you want to read the full review, and it's huge.
We flew in Alex Doby to New York to do this review. It was that big a device.
That big a device, a master of his craft, Alex Doby. He is. AndroidCentral.com for the full review. And I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me and bring in Renee Ritchie of iMore.com to talk about some Apple stuff, which you know nothing about, so you can just go. Or maybe I'll bring back Georgia.
I don't want to go.
But you have to. It's the Monday Brief. I have to do the show. People get upset.
Okay.
All right. Don't pout.
Bye.
I'll buy you a cupcake later. Hi, Renee.
Ashley.
How's it going? I'm going to shake your hand. Wow, he is full of energy.
Absolutely.
Were you able to get a ticket to WWDC this week?
Not yet. They were sold out in 1.2 minutes, which I think is the only way to do it better next year is to sell out before they announce the event.
Now, I'm hearing that Apple has been reaching out to some developers who did not get tickets after it sold out. Why didn't Apple do that beforehand? I'm just curious.
Well, so it looks like people who actually had a ticket in their cart and then the server crashed, Apple knows they had it in their cart, so they're just finding their information based on their account, calling them and saying, look, no, you didn't lose your ticket, it's still there, we will finish that transaction for you.
Well, that's nice of them to do that because some people, a lot of times with these conferences and things, tickets sell out and then everyone's like, oh my gosh, everything crashed. So that's good that they're doing that.
It is. And it's a hot ticket because so far there's been absolutely no Apple announcements this year at all. Usually there's a new iPad in the spring. We haven't seen that yet. Last year there was a OS X beta. We haven't seen that yet. Previous year there was an education event or a Verizon iPhone event. Haven't seen any of that kind of stuff yet. So we're desperate. We're thirsting for iOS 7, we're thirsting for Mac OS 10.9. We're waiting, Ashley.
It has hit a fever pitch, I think, at this point. Now, what do you think of the invitation? It's very colorful.
I do not believe in reading Apple tea leaves. I think they say to a designer, make a good-looking invitation. I don't think they care to, make it anthropomancy in any way, shape, or form.
Fair enough. Do you think they're going to get rid of Game Center or the look of Game Center?
We have heard that they are, reducing the amount of texture. Probably not obliterating because textures help you understand what app you're in, but they're going to make it perhaps a little more elegant across the board.
That's fair. When is WWDC?
It is the week of June 10th, so that's going to be the keynote where everything gets kicked off. Tim Cook, probably Phil Schiller, maybe Johnny Ive this year.
Oh, I think we need a little Johnny Ive with his British accent.
Aluminium.
Extra eyes in aluminum.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to bring in Derek Kessler from WebOSNation.com. Renee, thank you. He didn't even say goodbye. Derek Kessler, WebOSNation.com.
Hi.
You did not scarily pop into this shot, which I'm a little surprised by.
Do you want me to try that again?
I feel like maybe you should have rappelled through this window.
Give me a couple of minutes.
This week was very interesting for WebOS Nation. I know it's been a little here and there this year, but this week you have a very interesting device, a lost prototype. Now, what is this?
This is the HP Windsor Knot. It is a 4-inch WebOS smartphone. Never released, got canceled before it even got into deep development, but it's a slate smartphone. It's the only WebOS smartphone that was ever made that didn't have a keyboard, and it actually has the same internals as the good old Pre-3, but has the bigger screen and it's much thinner, and it got canceled. And it's kind of sad, but I got.
It's really pretty.
It is. It actually has a lot of design cues that you would see in like the Galaxy S series and the Nexus 4, but it was from 2011, so kind of ahead of its time as far as the industrial design might be concerned.
Now, I think the question all of our viewers have is how many people exactly did you have to kill to get this phone?
Too many.
Too many.
Too many good men had to die for this phone.
Many Bothans died to bring you this phone.
Yes, indeed.
I love that you are so not laughing at my jokes. Well, it's a really interesting story. You have the full story on how they brought how the Windsor Knot was canceled. Mm-hmm. It's full story. You can read it at WebOSNation.com, and I highly suggest it. It's a story of intrigue.
It's interesting and depressing at the same time.
Which is kind of like WebOS Nation right now.
It's the entire story of WebOS.
The whole story of how HP, it's a sad tale, but you know what? You're still killing it. You got an exclusive. This is an exclusive.
Sure, you can call it that. There are maybe about a dozen of these out there, period, since they never got into mass production. So, yeah, there aren't a whole lot of these to go around to write about.
It's impressive to me. So, Derek, thank you. I'm going to have you stay here. Or wait, no, I have to have Danny come. Yeah. Come over.
Come on, Windows Phone boy.
Come on, Windows Phone. You have a new haircut. You look so delightful.
I've new man. It's 2013, and I'm a little late, but I'm catching up now.
Now, Jeff Goldblum, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Danny couldn't be here. Tell us all about Jurassic Park 4. I'm just kidding. Tell us, there's been so much Nokia news happening. Lots of stuff Nokia is doing right now. One of which, a couple weeks ago, my fault, I reported on the Monday brief that I didn't think they would bring the 520, the Lumia 520, to the States, and then they did.
Yeah, so T-Mobile is getting the Lumia 521. They just changed the name slightly, but it's basically a real low-end, entry-level device, and it fits nicely in with T-Mobile's plans for their no-contract new scheme. It's going to go on sale within the next week or so. It's going to be about $150, which is pretty cheap if you think about it. And it's also a unique thing because it's going to be sold at Microsoft stores, Walmart, and H&N are doing something with it. And it's going to be the first time that the phone's being released first through other carrier or third-party channels, and then it's going to go through T-Mobile. So that's kind of a unique thing to happen.
It's really interesting that they went with T-Mobile, like you said. I like that this phone is sort of an emerging market phone. And then also, you could sort of consider T-Mobile an emerging market carrier right now with the uncarrier plan that they're sort of doing, so it kind of matches up, which is nice. I think it's really interesting that T-Mobile is the carrier they chose to go with because they have this sort of emerging market feel to them with the new uncarrier contract list. So do you think that we might see, I don't think we'll see the 520 on other carriers here in the States.
No, probably not. T-Mobile is definitely trying to, carve out a niche for themselves, and this phone will be really good for them. Android has been really good at driving towards the bottom, making cheap devices, but this is one of the first devices I would say that's both cheap and still performs very well. And so it'll be a nice trade-off. But for you guys on T-Mobile who want Nokia high-end stuff, we're pretty sure something's going to be coming towards the middle of the summer for you guys, and it will be in the 900 levels. So keep your fingers crossed, but we're pretty sure that's coming too.
Now, even if it was in the 700 level, you're really enjoying the 720.
Ah, yes. Let's see. I think I have that phone here. I've been using the 720 now for a couple weeks, and I absolutely love this phone. It's actually... The 920 is amazing, but Nokia's done some great work with this. And yeah, I really wish a U.S. carrier would pick this up in T-Mobile. Anyone, please?
I would like to see that phone on T-Mobile. I think it would be a great fit.
Yeah, I mean, this goes for 350 off contract, so if you can imagine on how much it would go for, it'd be a great deal.
I love it. Well, I think that's the Nokia news, but if you want all the Windows Phone 8 news, you can go over to WPCentral.com and hang out with Danny and the crew.
Sure, we'll be there next week.
It's going to be delightful. I think we're going to get Kevin, Crackberry Kevin, the master of all his domain, to come talk about,
Sorry, I thought this was the Monday brief. It was so long, I had to go to the bathroom.
I'm sorry.
And we have pacing issues, I think, folks. Not the briefest of briefs. But I'm here. Is anybody still watching?
It's the Mobile Nation's Monday length.
That's something. But I got a new phone.
You do, and it
Maybe
has
I'm
a
gonna fix my hair.
and it has a physical keyboard on it. This is very exciting.
The BlackBerry Q10. It is the first BlackBerry 10 phone with a full physical keyboard. There's only one market for this thing. People who love physical keyboards. And there's no alternatives.
That's true.
So if you want the best smartphone on the market with a physical keyboard, go buy it. That's it.
That's it. So you wrote the review.
I haven't really read it yet, actually. I've been really busy in New York for TM13, which we can't
What's TM13?
talk about it, but people should just keep reading all the sites. We'll tease it out. I mean, it might be Mobile Nation's The Movie.
It could be Tough Mudders.
Could be a lot of things. But yeah, as you can tell, we have everybody here. We've been working our butts off. I did write most of the review with a lot of help from our other folks, Blaze, Adam, Simon. Been using the phone, though. It's freaking awesome. And that's it.
Now, let me ask you, just really briefly, comparing that to the virtual keyboard of the Z10, which do you, Crackberry Kevin, prefer?
Not ready to answer that yet, but I will say the touchscreen keyboard I'm freaking awesome with. And I honestly thought before I got the phones, it would be an easy decision for this. But BlackBerry literally has the best touchscreen keyboard on the market.
I do like the swipe up to complete. It's really nice. Well, okay, I'm gonna leave it to that. If you want to read the full review, and it's a huge review.
It's a big review. Just head to crackberry.com/Q10 for everything BlackBerry Q10 related.
I love that. Well, should we get everybody to come in the shot and hang out with us and talk a little bit about?
Yes, so I mean,
He-
if you want to. It's such a long show.
I know it's 20 minutes long now.
Better to do on your Monday morning, but just hang out with us for hours and hours. It's
But
probably
people-
Tuesday right now.
It probably is now the Tuesday brief, and you're probably enjoying a cup of coffee after a day of. Everyone's gonna come in, and then we're gonna.
What are we
Except
doing
for
now?
except for Phil. Well, just okay.
Who
so
didn't shower?
Georgia.
Oh.
Okay, we're all here in New York. We're all really excited. We can't tell you why. I mean, we can tell you why in that we're all together, having a nice family reunion.
Here's the deal.
Okay, Steve Wynn.
That's it.
All right, we're really excited to tell you all about TM13, but if you want to know what it is, maybe you should tweet about it. You should hashtag it TM13.
Make it trending.
Make it a trend.
We've already said too much.
We have already said
Maybe the TM stands for too much.
too much 13. And I think on that note, speaking of too much, that's the end of the Monday brief, everybody.
Kevin and the team out. Do your thing.
I know. See, that's it for your Mobile Nations Monday brief. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/mobilenations. You can follow me on Twitter at Ashley Esqueda. Nations, you have been briefed.
Ow!